My name is Paul, and this is my wife Trina, and my daughter Kelsie. When she turned 7 months, she got pretty sick, and we'd taken her to the doctor, and she was diagnosed with pneumonia. And we went through treatment with that, and it just never seemed to get better. It was about a month and a half after that where she was still draining, and so Trina was able to take Kelsie to the pediatrician. So I met them at the hospital. Kelsie got some blood taken. So I got a call on my phone about an hour and a half after we'd left the hospital, and the news was that Kelsie had leukemia. She was diagnosed with leukemia. We went there the next day, and it began, and it was like a whirlwind of information and doctors. The information we were getting, it was hopeless types of information, and there was no delay. We got there, they gave us the information, and then after we signed off on all the papers, like, this is what's going to happen to your girl over the course of the next 2 years through treatment, they shuffled us off into a room and started. They immediately drilled into her hip, which I had to hold her on a table still and curl her up in a ball, and they took a syringe and were drilling into her hip for bone marrow. There are so many tubes coming out of everywhere, and it's like they're days that you want to forget, you know. She was in PICU for a week, and we were waiting for her to just open up her eyes and respond. When she was a baby and Trina was still pregnant, I would sing to her. I'm Scottish, so I would sing to her, you know, my Bonnie lies over the ocean. And so one day, when we were still in PICU, and I was singing to her that song, and she woke up. She opened her eyes. It was a pretty special. So that was the moment where, you know, she was awake. She was able to breathe on her own, so she was able to go on with treatment. And so there was lots of positive things happening. You know, the expectations of the doctor started to change. They started giving us permission to take her out of the hospital and go to zoos and have fun. The treatment schedule was 48 weeks long of just chemo infusions and all that stuff. But they said, that's just what it takes from start to end if there's no delay. And they said no one has finished in under 2 years this protocol, and she was done in 1.5 years. And when she was finished, her lead doctor, who really had a special taking for her, I mean, he just really loved her, said, I don't expect her to have any physical problems, no delays. She's healed. She's done, and I don't expect to see her again. She's one of those good stories that you tell people. She has a scar from her port on her chest, and we didn't know it till afterwards, but she calls it her dream. And we don't know, like, we don't know if she felt pain, you know, at night with the port in, and because we would ask her when she'd wake up in the middle of the night, you know, did she have a bad dream? And she'd say, yeah. Well, then down the road, when she could start talking and explaining things, she'd say, you know, this is my dream. The necklace that she has now is another touch point for her to remember and for us to attach stories to. It's a nice thing to hold on to and say, God loved me, and it's a great story. It's her testimony. She'll tell it for the rest of her life. Personally, the design can take on so many different symbolic type thoughts, but for me, the little circle, that's like my little girl, and the big circle, that's me, you know. I think in our situation, it's just been it's like a symbol of victory. I know it's not going to be that for everybody, but for us, we went through this process as a family together, and we're out of this now together. But I think it can do the same for people who are in a similar position. This is a touch point for them to just continue to remember God's goodness to them.